He told me never to watch that tape. I watched it. I was shying. Hadn't. My name is Daniel. I'm 29. I've never told anyone this story. Not my girlfriend, not my closest friends, not even my therapist. But it's eating me alive, and I have the stupid hope that maybe, just maybe, putting it out there will help me sleep at night. My brother Evan was 2 years younger than me. We weren't exactly close, but we shared enough memories, a bedroom for half our childhood, parents who loved us in their own weird, detached way. Evan was always a bit off. Not crazy or anything, just different. He filmed everything. Not like a hobby obsessively. Hidden cameras in the house, tiny ones. GoPros, spy pens, motion-activated recorders. I didn't know the half of it until it was way too late. 3 years ago, Evan disappeared. No note, no warning. Just gone. I came home after work and found his door open, bed made, closet half empty. His laptop was wiped clean. The police filed a report, but nothing ever came of it. Mom cried for weeks. Dad barely spoke. Me? I didn't know what to feel. Relief, maybe. Guilt for feeling that. And confusion, always confusion. I boxed up his stuff and stored it in the attic. I didn't touch it until 2 months ago. I was up there looking for old Christmas lights when I found a shoebox I didn't recognize. Tape shut labelled in Evan's handwriting, "Don't watch." Of course I opened it. Inside were 4 micro SD cards, a note, and a small black camcorder, the kind you clip to your shirt. The note was short. If you found this, I'm probably gone. Just know I didn't choose this. Watch the 3rd card last. I don't know what possessed me. Morbid curiosity, maybe. Or that same blood we shared. But I started watching the footage that night. The first 2 cards were normal. Evan talking to the camera, paranoid. Rambling about being watched, how he couldn't sleep, how he kept seeing the same red sedan parked near our house. He filmed it the same license plate, different days. Guy inside always looked away from the camera. Evan started sneaking out at night, following the car when it moved. He never got close, but he recorded every second. I remember thinking maybe he was just losing it. Maybe that's why he disappeared. Then I watched the 3rd card, and everything changed. The 3rd card started with static. A high-pitched whine played for a few seconds, then it cut to Evan sitting in our basement, under that awful yellow light we never replaced. He looked thinner than I remembered. Eye sunken, beard patchy. He was shaking. "I think they're in the house," he whispered. "Not every night, just sometimes. I hear footsteps, but they're not mine, and things are moved. Just a little, like my toothbrush is wet when I haven't brushed, like someone's breathing behind the shower curtain, but there's no one there." He panned the camera around the room. Nothing unusual. Except there was a new door. I swear to God, I don't remember a second door in that basement. But there it was, rusty metal, bolted shut. He didn't say anything about it. Just stared at it. Then the footage cut to night vision. Evan had set up a hidden camera in the hallway outside our bedrooms. You could see me walking to the bathroom around 3:00 a.m. Then, minutes later, you see something else. A figure, no, not a person. Too tall, too thin, joints moving wrong. Its arms were just too long. It crept past my room and paused at Evan's door. Then, I swear this is real, it turned to the camera. Not its head. Its whole body twisted. And it smiled. Or something like a smile. And the video cut out. I couldn't breathe. I watched it again. And again. Trying to see if maybe it was Evan in a costume. Some elaborate prank. But Evan wasn't that good with effects. None of it made sense. There were more clips. One of Evan sleeping filmed from above. Not a tripod, not the ceiling. Above. It swayed, as if something was holding the camera and gently drifting in midair. Another showed him placing a mirror in the hallway. Then hours of nothing. Then at 4:23 a.m. the mirror cracked from the inside. Like something inside the reflection tried to get out. I wanted to stop watching. I should have stopped. But I couldn't. The final clip on the card showed Evan unlocking the metal basement door. He was crying. Whispering something like, "I just want it done." He opened the door. Darkness. Not like a dark room, nothing. Like the absence of reality. The footage flickered, and I swear I saw hands reaching out. Dozens of them. Grabbing. Then static. And that was it. Except it wasn't. I sat there for what felt like hours. The silence around me was unbearable, like the weight of the world was pressing down on my chest. I don't know why I didn't stop then. Maybe because I had to know. Had to understand what happened to Evan. But deep down, I think I already knew the answer. I grabbed the 4th micro SD card. My hands were shaking. I didn't know if I could handle what came next, but I couldn't leave it unfinished. This card was different. It didn't start with footage. It started with a distorted voice. Static crackled through the speakers, followed by low, almost inaudible whispers. The only words I could catch were "not him, not yet." Then the video began. It was Evan, sitting in the same spot in the basement, staring directly into the camera. His face was pale, his eyes bloodshot, but the worst part was that he looked calm, almost peaceful, like he had accepted whatever was happening. I thought it was them, he said, his voice flat. I thought it was them who were taking me, but it wasn't. It's something else, something older, and it's not done with me yet. The camera zoomed out slowly, revealing that the basement was no longer empty. The metal door was open, but the space beyond it, it wasn't our basement anymore. It was something else. A long, narrow hallway stretching into blackness, walls lined with faces. Hundreds of them. People. All frozen in place, eyes wide open, mouths agape in silent screams. They looked like they were alive, but I couldn't tell for sure. Some of them were twisted, their faces contorted in unnatural shapes, their skin stretched tight over bones, while others appeared perfectly normal, almost too normal, like they didn't belong there at all. Evan turned the camera toward himself. His face was breaking apart with horror, but he still couldn't tear his eyes away from the faces in the hallway. "They're waiting," he whispered. "They don't let you leave once you see them, they take you." I could feel my heart pounding. The words didn't make sense. What the hell was he talking about? But Evan's eyes, wide and terrified, locked onto the camera, and I knew he wasn't lying. The video cut again, and this time, Evan wasn't in the basement anymore. The camera was inside that hallway, moving as if it was being held by someone. But it wasn't Evan. It was something else. The camera panned down slowly, revealing a figure tall, too thin, its limbs twisted in ways they shouldn't bend. The skin was pale, slick, almost like a shadow skin stretched over a skeleton. It wasn't human. Then it turned to face the camera. Its mouth open, wider than any human should be able to, showing rows of jagged teeth. And then it smiled. I couldn't take it anymore. I hit pause, gasping for air, my hands trembling uncontrollably. I was sweating, my mind racing. But deep down, I knew this wasn't just a prank. This wasn't some sick joke. It was real. Whatever Evan had uncovered, whatever he had become entangled in, was not something I could understand. It wasn't something that could be explained away. But there was still one thing left. One thing I hadn't noticed at first. At the very end of the video, after the creature smiled, something flashed across the screen for just a split second. A name. My name. And that's when I realized it wasn't just Evan they were after. I sat there, paralyzed. My mind was racing, trying to process what I had just seen. My name. That tiny flash, buried beneath everything else. It was like a weight crashing down on me, crushing my chest. This wasn't just about Evan anymore. I wasn't just watching a story unfolding in front of me. This was personal. And I had no idea how deep this rabbit hole went. I kept replaying the final moments of the video. Over and over. That thing, or whatever it was, had seen me. It had known me. And when I looked closer, I realized something else. The faces in the hallway weren't just strangers. I recognized some of them. There was a face that looked like my childhood friend, Adam. Another that was a woman I vaguely remembered from years ago. She used to live down the street. But what hit me hardest was the face of a little girl, standing toward the back of the hallway. I knew exactly who she was. It was my niece. Maya. My brother's daughter. I hadn't seen her in over a year, ever since Evan had disappeared. She had stayed with my parents for a while, but we lost touch after that. No one ever mentioned her. My mind spun. Was she involved in all of this? Or worse, was she part of the thing that was coming for me? I grabbed the camcorder, practically yanking it out of the box, and shoved the final SD card into my laptop. It was almost 2:0 AM now, and the room felt colder than it had a minute ago. The screen flickered to life. This time, the video was different. There was no footage. Just blackness. Complete pitch black darkness. But then a voice. My own voice. "I'm sorry," it whispered. "It's too late." I froze. What the hell? It was me. But it wasn't me. The voice continued, distorted, scratching at the edges of comprehension. I could barely make it out, but the words were unmistakable. "They found you. They are always there, waiting." Then a faint sounded like the creak of a door opening. I jumped. My heart was pounding in my chest. I turned to look at the door to my bedroom. It was shut. It had been shut since I got home, but now it felt wrong. I felt something shift in the air, a pressure building. And then, through the screen, a figure began to materialize. Slowly, like smoke curling through the air, a tall silhouette began to take shape, growing from the darkness. It wasn't Evan. It wasn't the creature from the hallway either. It was me, standing in front of my bedroom door. A mirror image or something that looked like me. I felt my stomach drop. My legs were weak. My mind screamed at me to shut it off, to end it before it was too late, but my hands were frozen, gripping the laptop like it was the only thing tethering me to this reality. The figure in the video raised its hand to the camera, and I swear to God, I saw the exact same motion in the reflection behind me in the dark corner of my room. I spun around so fast, my neck cracking. The corner was empty, but I knew what I saw, and what I felt. The thing on the screen, it was already here. I didn't know what to do. I had no idea how to stop it. I only knew one thing for sure. They were coming for me now, and I had no idea how to escape. I don't know how much time passed after that moment. Minutes? Hours? Everything blurred together. My head was spinning. I could barely focus. I should have turned off the laptop. I should have locked myself in my room, barricaded the door, done something. But instead, I sat there staring at the screen, unable to move, unable to think clearly. Then the door creaked again. I heard it just like in the video. It wasn't loud, just a subtle, unsettling sound of the soft groan of old wood, like something or someone was on the other side, trying to get in. I stood up, stumbling toward the door. My heart was hammering in my chest. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to run, but I couldn't. I had to know. I had to see if it was real. The door opened just a crack before I even reached it. It wasn't me who opened it. No one was standing there. The crack was just enough to let a sliver of light from the hallway spill into the room. That was when I saw it. In the reflection of the door, in the thin strip of light that cut across the floor, there was a figure standing behind me. Not a person. Not anyone I recognized. It was him. The same figure from the hallway. The thing with twisted limbs, pale skin, and that grin that stretched impossibly wide. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. The figure didn't move. It just stood there, smiling, watching me through the reflection in the door. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. I could only stand there, staring back at it, and wondering if I was losing my mind or if this was really happening. Then the figure tilted its head, almost as if it was curious. And slowly, it began to raise its hand toward me, the fingers long and bony, inching closer to the door. Something snapped inside me. I couldn't take it anymore. I bolted toward the door, yanking it open fully and turning to face the hallway. Nothing was there. The hallway was empty. No figure. No creature. Just an empty, dimly lit corridor. I ran down the stairs, heart pounding in my chest, feeling like I was about to suffocate from the sheer terror flooding through my veins. I couldn't tell if the thing was following me or if I was just hearing things. The walls felt like they were closing in, like I couldn't escape. Like it was everywhere. I reached for my phone, desperate to call anyone. I thought of calling the police, but how could I explain this? How could I say that something was in my house, something that wasn't human, something that had already claimed my brother? The moment I touched my phone, the screen flickered to life. A notification. It was a message from my mother. Daniel, it read, I think it's time you know what happened to Evan. You won't believe this, but it's been following me too. I dropped the phone, my heart skipping a beat. My mother, she knew. She knew about this. The message kept flashing on screen, but I couldn't bring myself to look at it. I couldn't bear to hear more. That's when the voice came again. It wasn't from the phone. It wasn't from anywhere specific. It was inside my head. And it whispered, you're next. Then the lights flickered, the floor beneath me seemed to shift, and I could hear something indoor, someone breathing behind me. It was too close. The air was thick, suffocating. I didn't look. I couldn't. Because deep down, I already knew what would be waiting when I did. It was already too late. I turned and ran. My legs felt like they were moving through water, heavy and slow, but I couldn't stop. I had to get out. I had to escape. Every instinct in my body screamed that I needed to get away from whatever this was, from whatever had taken Evan and was now hunting me. I barreled through the house, my mind a fog of panic. I didn't know where I was going, didn't care. I couldn't think straight. All I knew was that something was behind me, moving closer, following the sound of my footsteps. I could feel it, the presence in the air, suffocating, pressing down on me. I made it to the back door, yanked it open, and stumbled out into the night. The cold hit me like a slap, but it didn't matter. I was outside. I was free, or at least I thought I was. I turned back to look at the house, half expecting to see something lurking in the windows. Not then. The house was dark silent. For a moment, I thought I might be imagining everything, that maybe I was just spiraling from the shock of losing Evan, from seeing that footage. But then I saw it. A figure, standing in the front yard. The same long, twisted shape. Its face wasn't visible, but I could feel its eyes on me. It wasn't moving, just watching. Waiting. I froze. It was too far to reach me, I thought. There was still time to run, to get away. But then the figure started to move. Slowly. The long, unnatural strides, its body shifting in impossible angles. And that's when I realized it wasn't a thing standing in the yard. It was an invitation. The ground beneath me trembled. I swear it did. The air thickened, pressing against my chest. I could hear my heartbeat pounding in my ears, louder than the wind, louder than the rustling of the trees. I had no choice. I couldn't stay. I turned and ran again, this time towards the street, towards the only place I thought might be safe. But before I reached the end of the driveway, I felt something brush against my shoulder. A cold, sharp touch, like ice sinking into my skin. I spun around, but there was nothing there. No one. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out. Another message from my mother. It's already inside your head. The screen went black, and I heard something I know, someone whispering my name. I wasn't alone. The shadowy figure from the video was in my head, and it wasn't just hunting me anymore. It had already claimed me. The last thing I remember was the sharp sound of something cracking, followed by the feeling of being pulled into the earth itself. Then, darkness.